Today's assignment is connected to the notes that you printed out already. So it has 2 pages to it. You have 2 days to complete it. I labeled it 7.1 A and B. So let's go ahead and do one from each page to make sure that you're understanding it. So on the first page, it's going to give you a graph with a scatter plot, and it already has drawn in the line of best fit. So what you're going to be doing is filling in your table with some of the points from the scatter plot. Find the slope, which is the m value. So remember, m is the slope. And identify the b value, which is your y-intercept. And then write an equation for your line of best fit. And remember, you want it in y equals mx plus b form. So the first thing we're going to do is identify our points from our graph. So we always want to start with the intercept, the y-intercept, which is right here. So that point is 0, 5. So that's going to be the first point we put into our table. The next thing you're going to do is go ahead and go along this line until you come to a point that you're going to include in your chart. So when I follow this line, even though it goes through this point here, it's not an exact number because it's not on this grid line here. So I'm going to keep going all the way until I get up here. Here I have one that's right on there. So I'm going to use this point that I just wrote on that line right there. And that point is 35, 30. So that's going to be my next point in my table. From there, I can find my slope. So remember, our slope is the y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So my y2 is 30 minus my y1, which is 5. x2 is 35 minus x1, which is 0. So that's going to give me 30 minus 5 is 25 over 35. And when you start reducing that down, so we end up with 25 over 30. We reduce it down, 35, and we get 5 over 7. So that is our slope. So m is going to be 5 over 7. My b value is that first point that we found. So it was at 0, 5, so b is just going to be 5. So when I write my final equation, I'm just using those two values. So y equals 5 over 7, x plus 5. Okay, so the other two on that page are going to be done exactly the same way. So now let's go ahead and look at the second page. The second page, we have our scatter plot, but this time our line of best fit is not drawn in for us. We have to do that part, and then everything else is done exactly the same. So looking at our graph, let's take our ruler, and we're going to estimate based on this line. So we've got all of these lines here. We want our line to kind of go in between all of those. So we can estimate it right about here. So you want to give yourself some points that fall on grid lines. That's going to help you later. So there's my line of best fit. I started my graph at 0, 2. The next point I see is going to be right here at 3, 3. That's going to be my second point in my chart. And then let's go ahead and find the slope. So y2 is 3 minus y1, which is 2. x2 is 3 minus x1, which is 0. So 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 minus 0 is 3. So that means that my slope is 1/3. So we don't really need this one here. So 1/3 is my slope. My b value is my intercept, which was at 0, 2. So 2 is my b value. So my final equation is going to be y equals 1/3 x plus 2. So you're going to go ahead and continue working out the other 3 problems the exact same way.